taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'll be back with you again with scores around the league at halftime. But kickoff right around the corner. And standing by to call the action, here are Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis.
We are just a few miles from the Gulf Coast of Florida at Raymond James Stadium here in Tampa. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the Atlanta Falcons and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hi again, everyone. Brandon Gaudin alongside Charles Davis. And Charles, you take a look at this Buccaneer ball club. They come in pretty desperate here for a win as they've started the year 0-5.
And it seems way too early to start talking about hot seats. But guess what? When a team is 0-5, people start wondering about their jobs.
Meanwhile, for the visiting Falcons, they've certainly found their groove of late, winners of 5 in a row.
And I think the sky's the limit for this team. They're playing the best football that they've played in a long time.
Getting toward the halfway point of the NFL season, Week 7 is underway on EA Sports. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And the decision to bring it out, a good one, as he's up a yard or two shy of the 30. So here come the Falcons now to get the football for the first time. They'll be led out by the #1 overall pick of the 2008 draft, the man they call Matty Ice, quarterback Matt Ryan.
And it felt like in watching the game tape, he got everyone involved last week.
He was a manager.
He really was. That's a great way to put it because they ran the ball some. They threw it accurately. 1 touchdown pass, so he didn't, break the bank doing that, but he didn't throw any interceptions. That's the bottom line. That's why a defense loves a quarterback like that. Doesn't put them in bad situations.
Now a play fake here on first down. Oh, the Buccaneer pressure too much. Down he goes. Gerald McCoy busting through to get him for a loss of 6. So a look here at the key inactives, and we got this list before the game down on the field. They tell us the same thing every time, don't they? Next man up.
No excuses. Be ready to play. That's the mantra of every organization. The key is having guys on the roster who are capable of filling in and playing at a high level. That's when you know you've drafted well, scouted free agents well, and stocked your team just the way you're supposed to.
And here are the Falcon offensive starters.
It's real easy to express how much you love about Julio Jones's game because when you watch him perform, you see a little bit of everything. You see speed, you see strength, you see the power with the run after catch. But what you don't see is the work he puts in during the week, and you also don't see this. A #1 receiver, one of the best in the league, that doesn't act like a diva.
And they work this well upfield across the 45. Now, after the completion, we're going to get a timeout, an injured player. We'll check on his status when we get back.
Let's go.
Now Ryan on first down. This one complete to Mohamed Sanu. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. Another nice gain, 16 yards there, and a first down again. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. On 1st and 10, it's Ryan. Swings it out to the flat for Freeman. And he works it to the 30-yard line here, right at the 30. It's a gain of 6 on the play, and it'll bring up a second down.
Defensively here, you're facing a top-5 team in terms of points scored in the NFL. So when they're that high-powered, you've got to find a way to hold them under 20, because to me, that's the magic number. 20 points scored. Give yourself a
rush coming, and he's taken down. Quan Alexander leading the surge there. He drops him for a loss of 6. Charles, a little bit of feast or famine on this drive. They moved the ball okay, but they've been sacked twice now.
And they've got to figure out how to plug that leak a little bit, right? Keep them away from the quarterback, because when he's not being hit, as you mentioned, they're moving the ball well.
third down. Ryan. He's going to loft one. Deep left side. And, it'll be intercepted. Picked off by Justin Evans. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. Certainly not how they envisioned ending their opening drive here in the first quarter.
Too many ones in this play. First quarter, first drive, first interception thrown.
And that last one, that hurts. Now the first carry for Ezekiel Elliott. And he'll get only a couple up to the 22. The numbers for Zeke from last week. 13 carries, 53 yards.
They've lost a bunch of games in a row now. They've got to start thinking a little bit differently, maybe a little bit outside of the box. Find other ways to move the football. I don't know if you're going to do it through the air or maybe change up how you establish your run game.
On second down, Elliott. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. It's a 10-yard pickup, and it moves the chains.
And there we see an early burst that makes him one of the leading rushers in the league.
Well, I want you to know, I listened to you yesterday when we were watching film. You said write down the word vision for him. It was on display there, wasn't it?
It certainly was, because he allows the blocks to set up in front of him. And if that continues, it's going to be a long afternoon for those guys trying to play some defense.
We're go. Check 59. Mike is 59.
A first down carry by Elliott. And he'll work this one up to about the 38. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
The give is to Elliott. And that play going absolutely nowhere as he's belted before he could get out of the backfield. He lost 2 there, and it's third down.
There is no doubt that Geno Atkins is really strong and stout at the point of attack. But I love his suddenness, the ability to make plays, to be in one spot, and then he's gone and into the offensive backfield. He's a heck of a player.
And there, a big TFL tackle for loss.
Hard to believe that his father, Gene Atkins, was an NFL defensive back. He's bred this big defensive tackle.
12 yards there as they keep this drive rolling. It's another first down.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
And that was a good start, getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance. And, Brandon, as we continue to see, so much of the influence on this game is now coming from those hybrid-type players. In this case, strong safety, not worried about covering the pass. What a play on the run.
Tackled for a loss.
Yeah, forget the pregame introductions. Introduced himself with authority on that play.
And give him 10 that time as he was able to get away from the pressure and get a nice gain.
Partner, he was going through his progressions. Not there, not there. After about the third one, he decided he better pull it down and run for it. And he slides down and avoids the hit for good measure.
Here's the 7th play of this drive. This is 3rd and 4.
We're go.
They'll try and run for it with Elliott. And he'll lose yardage here. Back at the 47. Losing 2 yards that time, and now it's 4th down.
Yes, indeed. That play there, that reminds me of some of the guys that I played with to have that suddenness, able to get into the backfield almost about the time the ball snapped and make a play. How about that tackle for a loss?
Absolutely. He did a lot of that last week when he was named the NFC Defensive Player of the Week. One of the guys on the team was saying, yeah, we called him the disruptor, and that's carrying forward again.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Atlanta now coming out on the field. That opening drive ended with the INT. It didn't lead to points, but still not the way they were hoping to begin the game.
But how about going and telling your defense, thank you, a huge thank you. You said it didn't lead to points, stalled off that drive. Now they've got a chance to redeem themselves and maybe reward their defense a little bit by putting some points on the board on this one.
The drive will start with a carry by Devontae Freeman. And he'll get this only up to about the 3-yard line. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8. This is what the defense is going to look like for Tampa Bay. They've been very good this year against the pass, currently holding on to a top 10 ranking at number 10.
And it's really difficult to prepare for this team. This is a #1 overall passing team in the NFL, but it shouldn't be hard to get excited about playing against them. The ultimate test going against that unit.
And that's why you and I are excited to broadcast this game.
Yes, sir.
On 2nd down, Freeman. And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line. They'll lose a yard, and it brings up 3rd.
Doubling this guy has to be a priority before moving up to the next level because the big fella, he just ate that one alive, just stuffed it. In fact, before the game, he was talking to us, and he's like, hey, these fans make me look fat. And we said, nah, man, you're just a whole lot of guy.
He is at well over 300 pounds. He's a big man. It's a pickup of 6, but it's not going to be enough. And the punt team's going to be summoned on 4th down.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
Here's Matt Bosher now, as his first punt will come from inside his own end zone. With it is Jackson. The quick feet by Jackson. Back now with Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin. It's the Bucs in possession of the football as we begin the second quarter as they take over following the punt with a 1st and 10. From midfield now, here's Trubisky. Under pressure here, and down he goes. Sacked back at about the 43-yard line. Vic Beasley in there to sack him for a loss of 6. Protection certainly going to need to be a bit better here on 2nd and 16. Here's Trubisky. Drops it underneath to Elliott. And this time he's able to take it down to the 42. They get 14 back, but it leads now to a 3rd down.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense.
Trubisky will throw. A bullet throw, but incomplete. Seems like this defense, especially the secondary, has really been contesting about every throw in this first half.
Remind me of a good half-court defensive basketball team. Every time a pass is thrown, they're right there in good defensive position, able to affect the play.
And this is good. It was running out of gas there at the end, but he winds up getting just enough on it. And the Bucs take a 3-0 lead. These kickers now, it used to be that a 50-plus yarder was cause for celebration, now seemingly automatic.
Yeah, isn't it funny when we prepare for a game, when you look at the backgrounds of these kickers, it's interesting, isn't it, to find out they were all-state quarterbacks, receivers, defensive backs, all-state wrestlers, right? Baseball players. We're finding athletes all along, and now they're just specialists putting it through the posts.
Atlanta now coming out on the field. And it's been a rocky start for them thus far. They had the turnover and then the punt on those first 2 drives.
So there is optimism because they've improved, right? Turnover, you just noted it on the first drive.
Punt's better than the turnover.
The punt is better on the second one. Now they're hoping to turn it into first downs and hopefully points.
Bryant will bring the foul at their 25-yard line. Play fake to Freeman. It's Ryan. He completes it to Julio Jones. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. This drive starting off on the right foot. 18 yards. That's the number 2 receiver in the NFL in terms of yardage. And tell you what, a few more plays like that, he won't be number 2 for long.
Well, that's what often happens when you have competitors running around the field. These guys know where they stand in relationship to yardage, totals, numbers, the whole deal. And let's face it, all of them, they all want to be number 1.
They run. Devontae Freeman. And he's going to take this one up only to about the 44-yard line. Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9.
Well, we saw him there trying to get it to the outside, trying to get to the perimeter, but not a whole lot of room there. But there's got to be one positive to that. If you keep moving laterally, creases tend to develop as the game moves on, and they can run it back inside later.
On 2nd down, Ryan. And it's hauled in by Austin Hooper. And they'll get him down as he's inside the 40. First time they've hooked up here. Good for 17 and a first down.
I know I spent a lot of time talking about how tight ends in a lot of cases now are pumped up wide receivers, but they're still big people. He used that frame right there to absorb a really big hit on him and held on to the ball.
They go play action here on first down. And his throw here's incomplete. He was looking for Mohamed Sanu there. And it's 2nd down.
It's always a battle. Who's going to win on first down, the offense or the defense? Let's face it, if you've got the ball, 4 yards or more on first down is what you're aiming for. They tried to throw for it there. Nice effort to knock that one away and bring up 2nd down.
Now Ryan going to give it to Freeman. And he'll get 4 here down to the 35-yard line.
And that's one of the reasons you like to blitz even on rundowns. It confuses the blocking assignments. It doesn't allow those offensive linemen to get up to the 2nd level.
The Falcons on 3rd down. Just 1 for 3 thus far. This will be 3rd and 6. From the gun, it's Ryan. And that is incomplete.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on 3rd down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. 3rd down, you got to try.
Oh, they get to the football. It's blocked. Now it's scooped up, and this is a live football.
Those really long field goals, when they are made, they are things of beauty. But there is a danger to getting them started, isn't there?
Yeah, with that low drive, you've got to really keep it low to the ground, don't you, to get that distance.
Yeah, hard to just pop it up in the air because otherwise it's not going to get there. So he's got to drive it low in order to have the distance, and that usually puts it in jeopardy, gives him a chance to block it, and everyone knows it on the other side. That's when you get your best jumpers on the other side of the field to try and get up and get it.
That play going for 16 yards to start the drive, first down.
Tremendous blocking by the interior of the offensive line. They didn't just gash him there. They blasted a gaping hole for him to gallop through. I think if he comes back to the huddle, he better be giving them a whole lot of credit and thanking them for that much space to rumble.
They keep on the ground with Elliott. And some good tackling there as he stopped up at about the 41. 2 yards on the carry there. It'll be 2nd down.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Now Trubisky to throw on 2nd. And some room to work. There he goes inside the 30. A solid gain of 15 yards and the sticks move. This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. They'll run it now out of the gun. Down to the 25. Give him a couple on the carry there. 2nd and 8.
Looks like they're establishing a pretty good pattern here because they've been very heavy in the running game on the last 4 plays.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. So far, 4 plays in this drive, all 4 on the ground. Now they'll throw it with Trubisky. A dump off to Elliott. Shedding through the defense. Heck of a move, but only able to work his way down near the 23. They'll get a couple yards on that one, and they're going to have a 3rd down.
I know most of the time when the ball's in the air, you're thinking wide receiver, tight end, but running backs, they can be a big part of any passing offense nowadays.
The Bucs on 3rd down. Just 1 for 3 thus far. This will be 3rd and 6. 2 minutes to play here in the first half. We'll come back to Tampa after this timeout. We remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll send you cross-state to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman will have all the stats and all the scores from games going on during another busy Sunday in the National Football League. And this is going to be incomplete.
Certainly looked like they were getting ready to convert there on 3rd down, but what an effort to get his hand on that one, knock it away, and brings up a 4th down decision.
And Catanzaro's kick is right through, and that will add 3 more to their lead. It pushes it up to 6. No problems in the field goal department so far. He's 2 for 2.
Pretty reliable here in this game, isn't he? And to me, that bodes well for them. If they need him late in the game, his confidence should be sky high.
The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And he'll get it up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. So out come the Falcons now. On 1st down, Ryan. The left side completion to Jones. The 30, 20, touchdown, Falcons. Julio Jones. 78 yards. And the Falcons are an extra point away from moving out in front. And correct me if I'm wrong, that was just a simple fly route, wasn't it?
No, there's nothing to correct at all. You've got it down pat. And I just remember as a player, when I'd be in practice sessions and I'd hear 9 from the receivers, that meant fly route, go, look out. That was the 9, and he just kept going all the way into the end zone for the touchdown.
And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. Mike Evans and the rest of the offensive unit heading back out there now. Hasn't had his best day to this point here in the second quarter, and they're losing. You got to think, though, that also means that maybe the defense doing a good job on him. There's 2 sides to that coin.
I would agree, so you have to give them credit, but that means you've got to find a way to beat that defense and make sure one of your top playmakers touches the football and has an impact on the game. Change formations, change where he lines up, put him in motion. Anything possible to shake him free.
Maybe that greater impact comes here on this drive. The improv on the scramble there gets him 6, and it'll be 2nd down. On 2nd down, Trubisky. Flushed out right. And boy, that one drops incomplete, but if he was hit a fraction sooner, it may have been a fumble.
It's been my observation there's been a nice variety of play calling defensively. You and I often talk about an offense's ability to keep a defense off balance with what they're doing. I think the converse has been true in this game.
I think you're right. They seem to have gone off tendency quite a bit, but only the second quarter, a lot of time to change things. Airing this one out for Evans. And it's knocked away and incomplete.
Well, that certainly looked like something that they discussed all week in practice getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels.
Oh, the Falcons fly in and they block it. It's picked up, and this is a live ball, remember. So much for pinning him really deep. Short punt could have pinned him inside the 10. Now great field position the other way.
It's never good when you're punting the ball and your eyes see the ball go back behind you.
No.
In however form, whether it's over your head or to the side, never good. Now it becomes a race to get to the football so they don't pick it up and take it all the way.
Throwing the slant pattern here complete. Now the Falcons going to use one of their timeouts, as the stoppage will come with a little under a minute to go in this first half. So 2nd and inches after that first down completion went just shy of the marker. From the shotgun, Ryan. And that'll be hauled in by the tight end. It's Hooper for the Falcon touchdown. Austin Hooper, his 5th touchdown now on the year. And the Falcons will extend their lead.
And that lead is now 7 with a chance to go to 8 or more if they want to get crazy here, which we don't expect. But I just know the way the game's being played with the analytics, there's going to be a lot more of going for 2 in a lot of situations, isn't there?
Yeah, there's going to be. And I think their focus here, they don't want to give up anything going into the lockers on the other, and just a little bit of time left on the clock.
Yeah, they don't want to do anything to erase the good feeling they have right now by getting this late score in the half.
And let's gaze our attention on Ezekiel Elliott. He's been good. They've utilized him well, but they're losing here in the second quarter. What might they change offensively?
I think that what you try and do is expand how you get the ball to him a little bit. Get him out in open space, maybe swing the ball to him. What's that they used to call it in the West Coast offense, the long handoff? Yeah. Serve as your running play that way, as well as continue to feed him the football. Some of these runs now may pop bigger later in the game.
Now Trubisky lost the football. And they take over already 5 yards deep into the red zone at the 15-yard line. He let one slip away last week as well, so now 2 fumbles lost in as many weeks.
Well, we were out at practice, and we watched him work. And what did his quarterback coach talk about all week?
Being a 2-hand monster.
And we looked at each other. 2-hand. Oh, I get it. 2-hand monster. Both hands on the football, taking care of it, putting it away so the ball doesn't get dropped.
Following the fumble recovery, it's Ryan. That is caught inside the 5. And he is into the end zone for a Falcon touchdown. Matt Ryan now 3 first-half touchdown passes. And the Falcons will add on to their lead. Bryant's extra point up and good. And the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker. Defense.
Well, we looked at each other right away. We knew that flag was coming out.
And I always enjoy the conversation post because officials always tell you, I don't want to throw the flag, but you caused the play. You did it. I had to.
And this offense led by Mitchell Trubisky going to make their way back out there. I think this crowd not really sure what to make of things. You know, their guys have not looked very good. Their leader here at the top, he hasn't looked that great either.
And most of the time you hear guys talk about how they don't let the crowd affect them or they block it off. Well, that's not really fully true because a lot of the times you ride the wave of emotion with a crowd when it's positive for you. In this case, they've got to find a way to shake it off and at least get something done to maybe put the crowd back on their side.
Absolutely. Give these guys something to cheer about.
180! Check, crunch. We go. You see it? Check, 93's the mic.
Again on 2nd and 10, it's Trubisky. And he comes back with one complete. And past the 40 before he's out of bounds. 17 yards on the pickup there. The drive will continue. It's a first down.
So many times you hear today's NFL described as a space game. Get your best players into space with the football in their hands. That's why sometimes you just swing it out to your runner, get him out in the flat, and let him have a chance to make people miss an open field.
And he's got the hook up here to Deshaun Jackson. Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense as they stop it with 16 seconds to go in half number 1. Trubisky now 5 out of 10, 50% throwing it. Not so hot, but he does have a first down. Throwing here, Trubisky. He's going to fire one deep over the middle. And that'll be incomplete with 11 seconds remaining now. He was trying to find Deshaun Jackson that time. That'll bring up second down. Ball on the 30 as they come up, 2nd and 10. Second and 10. It's Trubisky again. Eluding the press. And he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes. And this offense going to elect to burn a timeout with 5 seconds remaining in quarter number 2. So on 3rd down, the field goal unit will come out as they'll try to get 3 before half. They'll spot it at the 47, so call it a 57-yard attempt. And Catanzaro's kick is right through, and they're hanging around here as the lead's down to 12. So they're still down, but they are able to salvage 3 here heading into the lockers.
This is what you worked on from the beginning of training camp. Heading into the half, put some points on the board. No matter what the score says at that point, you've accomplished what you set out to do.
Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. This one taken from the 7. So we have reached halftime now with the visiting Falcons out on top. As we toss it an hour or so east of here to Orlando, it's Jonathan Coachman with our EA Sports Halftime Report.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much. A lot to get to here as some of the division races starting to take shape as we look around the NFL here in week number 7. We'll begin up at Bank of America Stadium in Uptown Charlotte, where it was definitely a game with some intrigue, as you can see by the score line. 20-10 was the final.
The second half upon us sooner than we bargained for. Week 7, second half. Let's do it. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. That's fielded in the end zone. And nice work on the return as they'll start their drive just past the 30-yard line. Out come the Buccaneers. They'll have it first to start the 3rd quarter. They have the ball here for the inaugural drive of the second half. Pretty big deficit, though. We'll see what adjustments were made in that locker room.
And I never want to make something more important than it actually is, right? I don't want to create more hype than what is there. But this is I'm doing it, though. This is a really important drive, and we often talk about
Ezekiel Elliott gonna take it the distance, and he gets all the way down to the 30-yard line. A big hitter. That one goes for 40 yards. We've seen him break off a big run already in this game, and for a second, that one looked like it might be another.
Yeah, I think that any defense would say, look, we can't let him get to the second level, because sometimes he'll break off the big run on his own, but oftentimes you get additional blocking at the second level, which gets you deeper into the secondary.
Running game working. They'll stick with it on first down. He'll get about 6 there as he takes this one down to the 24-yard line.
Let's talk a little football 101 here, because one of the keys to advancing the ball downfield, success on first down. Huge difference, as we know, between 2nd and 4 and 2nd and 8 and 9.
On second down, Ingram. And he'll get it down this time to the 17. It'll go as a gain of 6 that time, and it moves the chains as well.
Yeah, once more, strong running, excellent blocking at the point of attack. They've got a nice little drive brewing right here.
A give to Elliott, and he'll be stopped after a gain of only a couple down to the 15-yard line.
Well, praise has to go to the guys on the offensive line, because they've had a very nice, productive day running the football. How about that poor defensive line? They've been knocked around the entire game, and while they slowed them down on that run, can they continue to do so? Because they haven't had much success throughout this ball game.
Again, it's Elliott. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. Give him 6 on the play, and that is going to set up a 3rd and 1.
And there's a run to be happy with. Good, solid yardage. He'll take that anytime you hand the ball to a back.
The Bucs on 3rd down. Just 1 for 5 to this point. They're up against a 3rd and 1 situation. They'll try to run for the first with Ingram. And the reinforcements come in as they're going to stop him behind the line. A loss of a yard, and it brings up 4th.
Brandon, we're into the second half, and this offense has not scored a lot of points, and that was another example of why. I think it's time to open things up and start really trying to move the ball.
They'll try and throw for it with Trubisky. Flush to his right. And Evans hauls it in. Touchdown, Bucs. Mike Evans, his 2nd touchdown on the season. And the Bucs are able to make this a close game again.
And that touchdown ends a streak, for lack of a better word, of 3 field goals that they put on the board previously. They finally cracked the code.
Yeah, they've been down there. They've been in enemy territory, as you said. They just hadn't been able to punch it in until that point. Extra point up and good by Catanzaro. And this is back to a 5-point game. So that winds up a 7-play drive all told. And it's all finished off with a touchdown by Tampa Bay. A 5-point game now as here comes the kickoff. Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll wind up getting an extra couple yards here for his trouble as he'll bring this one out to the 27. Here comes the Falcons offense. It's their first possession of the second half now. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked, but you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
False start, offense.
So pin that one on the rookie right tackle.
Remember those days when the right side was simply the run-blocking side? Now you're dealing with some of the better pass rushers in the league. It'll make you a little jittery.
After the penalty, here's Freeman. And he'll be taken down right around the 27. It's a 5-yard pickup, so essentially they get the penalty yardage back, and it's back to 2nd and 10.
Tough first half for him, unable to put up the numbers he's used to producing. But with a guy like him, you and I both know it just takes a couple of explosive touches for him to make an impact on this game and on the stat sheet as well.
Now Ryan on 2nd down. Quick hitter here, it's complete. And he'll get it up near the 35, right at the 34 here. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a 3rd down.
And when you're playing a quarterback with some experience and some moxie, you enter the danger zone when you decide to blitz him, because if he's able to diagnose as he did on that play, he can hurt you downfield.
He reads defenses so well, doesn't he?
He really does, and the best part about that play for him, I don't think that was his primary target.
I don't think so either.
I think he had the read, figured out where the blitz was coming from, and went to a secondary target for a really nice game.
Ryan to Sanu, good for an Atlanta 1st down.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
This is Freeman on 1st and 10. And he takes it past the 45 and down at the 46. 5 yards is the tally on 1st down. That brings up 2nd and 5.
In the first half, he was held in check on the ground, but despite that lack of production, they still have the lead.
Yeah, and they've got to feel fortunate about that. If they could actually get production from their lead horse, that would help open up this offense and widen this margin, too.
Ryan. He's going to sling this deep down. It's caught inside the 25. And he gets this down deep into Tampa Bay territory. A big-time play there for the Falcons. 41 yards. A nice job there, Charles. They picked up the blitz, were able to complete the pass.
That had the total feel of a quarterback in control. Red blitz, got him into the right protection scheme, so he doesn't get hit back there. He's got a chance to step up with supreme confidence and deliver it downfield for a nice completion.
Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9. Now, they struggled to get him rolling on the ground in the first half, and that's sort of continuing here in the third quarter.
Yeah, but I don't think it's time to abandon the running game. I would say keep feeding the horse, and I believe he'll eventually reward them, especially as we get deeper in the game.
And he'll be dropped at about the 11 after only a yard.
Gerald McCoy is always going to be linked with Ndamukong Suh. They came into the NFL in the same draft class. There's a lot of debate about who was going to be the better defensive tackle. They just do it two different ways. McCoy, more movement, more elusiveness. That allowed him to make the play there for a short gain.
On 3rd down, Ryan. This will be caught at about the 5. And he'll be brought down here at the 3-yard line. They get 7 there, but it brings up 4th.
So much about offense is what you call hidden yardage. You know, you throw the ball to someone, they catch it, and then they can make a big play. You know, they create a play, run after catch. They did a really nice job there of limiting that and keeping him from a first down.
Yeah, stopped him in his tracks. Well, looking at it from a defensive perspective, that keeps the deficit very, very manageable. You know, all things considered, not a bad job on the defensive side.
I would say that you've pointed out something pretty good right there, and that is you actually have both sides happy with that exchange. You know, happy in quotes, of course. One team, hey, we've kept it within range. The other side saying, hey, we put points on the board and did stretch out the lead. Let's see how this one turns out.
Yeah, still bottom line, though, 3 points for the opening drive of the third quarter.
It's the third quarter, and they're down on the scoreboard. And while no one wants to hit the panic button just yet, points are a necessity on this drive. What a great way to get set up.
They'll run with Elliott. And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. It'll be a pickup of 10 yards. And that'll bring up a 2nd and just about a few inches here.
On any explosive run, you can almost feel the ground shaking, and that's from the offensive linemen creating space for their runners. I had an old coach tell me before, they always told his runners, run around the offensive line in pregame. Get used to the ground shaking.
Back now in Tampa. It's Buccaneer football, but they've got work to do. They find themselves behind here to start the fourth quarter. Off the play fake. Here's Trubisky. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
Pressure, and that's certainly going to be a key to this game going forward. And that time, they were able to get in there and influence the throw. And remember, quarterbacks got to get rid of it. They don't have the tuck rule that they can fall back on anymore.
On 3rd down, Elliott. And he's going to have the first down yardage as he's down at about the 30-yard line. Give him 3 yards and a fresh set of downs. And, Charles, you look at this offense, their struggles moving the ball well documented. Dead last in the NFL in first downs, but signs of life there.
Yeah, and you and I do, I think, a really good job of respecting the game and respecting the teams. But this squad, they're in a position now where their fan base gets excited when they pick up a first down. They cheer almost like they picked up a touchdown.
On first down, Trubisky escaping the pressure right. And this would have been intercepted if he could have gotten the feet in. He didn't, so it's incomplete. Boy, that one really could have turned this thing upside down.
And that's one he's got to be happy to have back. There wasn't a hole open in the zone.
You'd have to think on early downs like that first down there, need to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, fortunately for him, got a couple more downs to play with.
Ball on the 30 as they come up 2nd and 10. Second and 10 now. It's Trubisky. Oh, no, he lost the football. And the Falcons say they have it. They do. A little careless with the football, and he also had a fumble loss last week, didn't he?
He certainly did, and when I'm watching him play, the one thing that comes to mind is always remember, traffic, turbulence, people around you, 2 hands. Get 2 hands on the ball. Grip it tight. I know it looks cool to have it in one hand. Put it away, tuck it away, because you've got to take care of the ball.
Charles, you'd said the magic number was probably right around 20 for this defense because they're facing one of the top 5 offenses in the league in terms of points scored. They've had their moments, but this offense just a little too good, isn't it?
They really are, because no matter what you do to make an adjustment on defense, they've got an answer for it.
Ryan on the handoff. It's Freeman. And he'll be taken down across the 50 at the 45 in enemy territory. That one goes for 13 yards, and it moves the sticks. Now, I'm guessing you'd say this is kind of the key here. Grind out some yardage, work on that clock, see if you can continue to tick it down.
Definitely. You want to bleed things out at this point, right? Continue to possess the football, gain some yardage, and put the onus on the defense. Do they have to use timeouts? What are they going to do to stop you? You're taking charge.
11 more yards that go around, a first down as well.
Another nice pickup through the air, and I think a lot of people might expect them to run the ball in this situation, Brandon, but with this lead, they're electing to throw the football. Swings, slants, quick outs, things that they consider safe.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. It was Jason Pierre-Paul who was able to get him down. Offensively with the lead, you want to run the ball, keep the clock going, but you also want to still kind of be in attack mode too, right? So how do you do that and not come back on your heels?
Yeah, think about all the practices we've watched where they have that tempo period to go over things just like this, where they describe the scenario, tell you what they're looking for, and make sure that they're still attacking, yet at the same time not going so fast as to leave too much time on the clock.
Now a second down throw for the end zone, but it's incomplete.
Let's give this defense some credit now. They let the guys get downfield, but when push came to shove, they stood their ground, and now they'll likely force a field goal attempt.
They come up now 3rd and 5 following the incomplete pass. Out of the gun, it's Ryan. And the 3rd down pass falls incomplete.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender was making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything that warranted a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag. And the holder's going to keep it. He's going to try to run for it. They're not going to get it. They try to move the chains with a surprise, but it's a turnover on downs. They pass up the 3, fake it. It doesn't work.
I remember being taught that cliches have become so for a reason. A lot of times they're true, right? What's that they used to tell us about letting sleeping dogs lie? Well, this one wasn't sleeping. Maybe it was just slumbering a little bit. But taking that gamble there, you've got the lead.
And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked off around the 41 and to the 43. So down inside the 45 to the 43-yard line. That's where they'll take over. And he may want to track down that football because that's interception number 1 on his career.
You're saying that's going into the trophy case?
I'd put it there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That's when you ask the equipment guys to make sure they hold it for you after the game. But if you play in the back 7 on defense, that's part of your job. Finding ways to take the ball away from the other team.
And he'll get it inside the 40 to the 39. The completion good for 3, and it's second down. That first down completion only netted him 3. 2nd and 7. Now a handoff. It's Freeman. And a pretty good run there as he gets 7 down to the 33. The recipe's pretty simple, I think, right? Just give your superstar the ball, continue to feed him.
Yeah, don't overthink this one, right? Make sure he's touching the football, but you're also counting on his intelligence in playing the game as well. If it's not there, don't force the run. Just make sure you hang on to the football and keep the clock ticking.
Ryan now to throw on 3rd down. Looking deep for who? And he's got his star receiver. It's Jones for the Falcon touchdown. Julio Jones with his 2nd TD of the game, his 6th on the year. And the Falcons turn that interception into a touchdown.
You have fun with this one, partner?
I am. I mean, he's been fun to watch under center.
We always talk about, getting to the next level, right? When we see people get into the zone, this guy's in the master class right now. What a performance he's putting on, just carving them up.
4 touchdown passes. Carving him up is right. Seems like everything he throws is going to be a completion and going in the end zone. And he'll take it past the 25 and up to the 28-yard line. And this offense led by Mitchell Trubisky going to make their way back out there. With his guys trailing here in the 4th, he can ill afford a repeat of the interception that ended the last drive.
Yeah, you're 2 scores down. You take it upon yourself now to play perfect or near-perfect football if you want to get your team back into the game. But it's also tough to do when you're trying to avoid errors, yet still play perfect football.
The tackle made there by Tack McKinley.
Well, he was stopped on that play, but he's had plenty of carries all afternoon. Every now and then the defense is going to win one, but I don't think they'll shy away from handing it to him the rest of the game.
Under 4 to go now as the clock runs and they come up on 2nd down.
4 down, 4 down. Sit up. 180. Red, up.
On 2nd down, here's Trubisky. Flushed out right. Now he'll let it go deep right side. That's caught at the 25. It's a big play there for the Buccaneers. And even 50 yards. They'll throw on 1st down with Trubisky. And he can't find anywhere to go with it. And he goes down.
Brandon, I think you understand the type of afternoon this offensive line is having. It is a long one for them. Long for you to spend it with me. Long for them trying to block those guys. They've given up a whole lot of sacks, and the speed and quickness of that defensive line is eating them alive.
Here's Trubisky. And a catch right side by Evans. And he's able to get it to the edge of the red zone at the 20-yard line. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face 3rd down.
I always laugh when people say, what's the toughest route to defend? And I'm like, any of them, especially if it's a good receiver. That makes things very difficult. But when you're running a drag route, something short, shallow, going through defenders, using guys almost as screens in order to get open, that makes things tougher, guys trying to get to the football.
And he gets it inside the 10 to the 9. First and goal, and they got to be thinking a chance to get right back into this football game. From the shotgun is Trubisky. And he can't get rid of it. He's taken down. Vic Beasley. He's the one to get him, and that's sack number 7 for him on the year. Time for a break. We'll come back and see this one out after this. So it's Buccaneer football as we welcome you back. They've got it 2nd and goal as they look for a late touchdown. Out of the gun, Trubisky. And that one's going to be over everybody in the back of the end zone. It's incomplete.
This defense was definitely alert to the possibility of the deep ball, and they were more than ready for it.
They've got the lead, 4th quarter. Maybe can expect more passes like that downfield. You got to think this is likely 4-down territory anyway, but they'll try to punch it in now on 3rd and goal. From the gun, it's Trubisky. And he's going to go down. He's sacked back at the 24. Vic Beasley in there to get him, and that's sack number 8 for him on the year.
Offensively, they're going to have to figure this out before next week. 7 sacks in one game.
Yeah, and that's more than any quarterback should have to bear. And if this continues on, there will be another quarterback in the game because no one can stand up to this week after week.
And this is going to be incomplete. They can't hook up here on the 4th down pass attempt. And the Falcons defense stands tall. They'll get the football back. Well, they had to take one final shot at the end zone, but now things are looking really bleak.
And I agree with that totally. You had to take the shot if they did score. You know, whether you call it a miracle or not, you line up, onside kick, get the ball back, throw one more in the end zone, who knows? Had to take the chance, it just was unsuccessful.
Let's go.
And now whistles and a flag, and I think we got a jump here.
Encroachment, defense.
So they got him coming up from his linebacker spot.
And sometimes the position designation really doesn't matter. If you creep up to the line of scrimmage, you just have to look for the football. Make sure it moves before you do.
So the yellow flag came out, and that leads to a new set of downs for this offense. 1st and 10. Freeman again. And he went nowhere. Well, he went backwards, back to the 33. It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down.
Yeah, let me puff out my chest a little bit, even though I'm not rooting for either team. That was a really nice defensive play. It's awfully fun to watch, even in an offensive game.
Solid move, but he's corralled just beyond the 40. Now the Buccaneers go ahead and take another timeout, as the clock will stop with 35 seconds left to go. The Falcons on 3rd down. They've converted 3 times in 8 chances. Here it's 3rd and 3. Now Freeman, he's been busy today. And a broken tackle helps lead to a 1st down gain. And play is stopped here. Timeout. It's the defense calling the timeout here, as they get it right at the 32nd mark of this 4th quarter. And they'll indeed take a knee.